What's up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with Let's Get Into the Blogs. These are going to be the week's hot topics of the week for the week of. We are in April. This is the week of April 5th through April 11th, you guys. Now, before we go ahead and get into the topics, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel, and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and also by sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and discuss what is hot and what is trending for this week, shall we? Okay, you guys, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is, let's talk about politics just like real briefly. It ain't going to be like a long, drawn-out conversation about politics. You guys know that this week, it's been an interesting week because y'all's president, not mine, but y'all's president, y'all know he has those tariffs, right? So currently, we are in a tariff war. Well, he's in a tariff war, but we're going to get the ramifications and we're going to be hit with it because he's in a tariff war with China, right? So I think it was Monday that he imposed, no, those tariffs were imposed over the weekend. And then going into this week, the stock market just went down, right? And, you know, people's 401ks got hit. I looked at mine and mine took a hit too. Like my 401k took a hit. It wasn't a big hit, but I lost because I looked at it yesterday. Interesting thing was I looked at my 401k Monday. It said I had, I'm not gonna say the dollar amount that I had, but I had a certain dollar amount in there, right? Then the next day, I looked 2 days later, it went down. It was over $1,000, almost $2,000 that shit took a hit, right? But then after the market did what it did, that's when, and then he was talking about how the other countries are kissing his ass, and I'm like, I don't think that they are. Especially not China, because China was like, okay, you impose a tariff on us, we're going to impose a 34% tariff on you guys. The last time I looked at that tariff, they're talking about 125% on the tariff. If you guys buy from Shein and stuff, I hope you guys bought some shit before now, because it's going to cost a lot more money. It's going to cost a lot more money. And it's so interesting because you see y'all's vice president, he called people in China peasants, and I was like, oh wow. Chinese, anybody, if you listen to us from China, we don't agree with that. That's not our president. He doesn't represent us. He don't represent nothing that I believe in. No, hell to the no, right? But then he put a pause on the tariffs. I think he's putting a pause on it for 90 days. I think that's what the pause is. I'm sick of this man. I kid you guys not. I'm sick of this bastard. We are only a few months into his administration. And one of his supporters got upset with me when I said on the blogs, I miss Biden, which I do, because I actually said I miss when presidents didn't seek attention and fame, right? That's what this man wants. He wants everybody to talk about him. The news stations talk about him consistently. It's day in and it's day out, and that is why I don't watch cable news anymore, because it is well, actually, let's take that lie back. The news stations don't talk about him every day, because Fox News, they do talk about him, but then they talk about the Democrats. They talk about Kamala, they talk about Biden, they talk about Jasmine Crockett, they talk about everybody else with the exception of him. When they talk about him, they try to make it like he's doing such a good thing for the country, which they know that that's bullshit, but neither here nor there, right? But yeah, that's really all I want to say with the tariffs. I'm sick of this man. I want him to go to hell. I just want him to go away at this point. But let's pause here and let's move on. All right, guys, so next up, these are some sad stories. So the first one is, I was on the blogs the other day. I don't remember which day this happened, but I know I saw it on the news earlier today. And there was a plane, well, not even a plane, it was a helicopter, right? And it was one of those helicopters out of New York where I guess they were just taking a tour, and the helicopter crashed into the Hudson River. And you can literally, so people caught the video of it, and you can see, I guess, the is it propeller? It flew off, and so the helicopter just fell into the water. Everybody on board, they didn't survive, right? The pilot didn't survive, and there was a family of five, I believe, right? It was a husband and wife and their three kids, ages 4, 8, and 10. They all passed away. I saw them as they pulled the wreckage of the helicopter out of the water. My God, that thing, you couldn't even tell that it was a helicopter the way it looked. It like, man, prayers up to, the family that was on the helicopter. Prayers to the pilot and his family members who are, now mourning the loss. Wow, I mean, it's really got to be terrible to plan a funeral for 5 people. Like I said, a husband, a wife, a 4-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 10-year-old. Man, that is terrible. Then the next thing that happened this week was out in the Dominican Republic, there was a nightclub it was a nightclub out there in the Dominican pub. It was a nightclub. I forgot what happened with the nightclub, but I know that it you could see it, and it collapsed, right? Now I don't know how many people were in there in a nightclub, but according to NBC News, it says, oh wow, it says that the death toll rises to 221 in the roof collapse at the Dominican Republic nightclub. So far, authorities have identified 146 people who have passed away and rescued 189 survivors from the rubble after disaster struck the Jet Set nightclub in Santo Domingo. It's terrible. Like, it's so interesting when you think about things, right? Like with the helicopter situation. Since the beginning of this year, and you see how many planes and helicopters and stuff have gone down, I will say it's made me very fearful of wanting to even fly. I will be honest and keep it real with you guys. Even though you guys know, I went to Atlanta. You guys remember I went to Atlanta in February, and I was on pins and needles before getting on that flight to get to Atlanta. Then coming back from Atlanta to Dallas, I was like, okay, the anxiety had kind of went down because I was like, okay, you made it to Atlanta, fine. And then I got to the airport. I was like, okay, you made it to Atlanta. You're gonna make it back home just fine, right? But prior to going, nervous. Like even last year when I went to Miami for my birthday, when I tell you guys I was nervous as hell about going to Miami, and the week before I left, my cousin was like, it's supposed to rain in Miami. It was the week before, it was raining down there. Luckily enough, when I got to Miami, it was clear, it was sunny, but the week that I got back home, if I had went a week later, they were getting hit with storm. But when I was in Miami, it did rain, but that rain, it came and went. So, because I did watch the news when I was there, and there was a rainstorm that did come through, but it was like it came through, it went away, and it was still hot as fuck in Miami, right? Hell, even when I went to DC last year, I wasn't as nervous when I went to DC, but I was nervous. But yeah, you guys, prayers up to the family that lost their lives, the family, the pilot, and the helicopter. And prayers to those who have lost their lives in this nightclub that collapsed. And we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next story, you guys, shall we? All right, you guys, so the next story we're going to talk about is, where do we want to go? Do we want to go with the big story, or do we want to go with a small story? I think we should go with a small story, right? Or should we go with a big story first? Let's talk about a small story. Let's talk about Tony Braxton. So I was just minding my business on the blogs, right? And so I know the neighborhood talk, and I know the shade room all posted this, right? So we got confirmation that Tony and Birdman are in fact married. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think I read that Tony and Birdman got married in 2024, or it could have been 23. One of those two. But Tony and Birdman are married. But the reason why they know that they're married is because a few days after they got married, Tony filed for divorce from him. But the two decided to just stay married to each other. I was like, is it a situation where it's cheaper just to keep her? And I'm speaking about Tony keeping Birdman. Oh, is it cheaper to? Because I mean, again, y'all know I'm a Tony Braxton fan. I love Tony, but anybody can catch a shade, right? But when it comes to both of them, I mean, we know Birdman's track record with money, and we know Tony's track record with money. So in this particular instance, is it cheaper to keep both of you and just not, let's just stay married to each other? Like, is it cheaper just to keep both of y'all asses at this point? Because I'm really asking that question. Is it cheaper to keep the both of them? Inquiring things to make you go, Hurr. Just like I said, when I said that was a small story, I meant it was a small story. But yeah, tell me what you guys think about Tony and Birdman being. Now I could swear that I remember big mouth ass Tamar at one point in time saying that they were married to each other. I could have swore I remember Tamar mentioning that, but I think people paid Tamar, the dust that we always pay Tamar, but that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But I guess congratulations are in order for Tony and Birdman. I guess. I don't know what to say. Let's go ahead and move on to the next story, you guys. All right, and a story of which I didn't really care about it, didn't need to know this information, but it was offered to us nonetheless. Now, you guys know Bow Wow, Omarion. I don't remember. I know when the Millennium Tour first started, it was like B2K, Pretty Ricky. I don't remember who else was on that tour because I never went to it, even though I wanted to go to it because this was my childhood, right? But y'all know the Millennium Tour, right? So I know this current tour, it had it had Omarion and Bow Wow on it, right? And we saw videos of Omarion and Bow Wow. We even saw a video earlier, I think I saw earlier this week, where Omarion and April's son, was it their son? I think that was their son. I think that was Mega, who was on stage with his dad dancing. Speaking of Omarion, I didn't even mention this last week. Was this last week that this happened, or did it happen this week? Y'all, social media was clowning Omarion about his body, about the fact that y'all say he got man titties. And now I don't understand what the purpose of him giving that chair a lap dance was. I was kind of confused about that, but neither here nor there. But social media kind of gave him the blues about that. I mean, the man is 40. What do y'all expect? I mean, yes, he could still work out, but I mean, shit. Once you get to a certain point, you just be like, fuck it. My body's going to change. Either I'm going to get fatter, smaller, bald, gray. I'm going to get something. But neither here nor there. Now, Bow Wow was on, he was on Cam Newton's podcast, right? Which I have I'd rather watch 3 hours of Shannon Sharp as opposed to Cam Newton. Just saying, right? So Cam Newton and Bow Wow doing an interview. Excuse me, y'all. I don't know if Bow Wow got something he's promoting. Maybe this tour, is the tour over? I don't know. Y'all will tell me in the comments section. But Bow Wow is talking about, a beef with him and Omarion. I was like, a who? A what? A beef? You don't say. You don't say. Things that I never asked for, things that I didn't care about. And when you listen to him talk about the beef, it ain't really a beef. Because y'all are working together. Y'all worked with each other. So it's kind of like, I guess, it sounds like a one-sided beef where Bow Wow has this imaginary issue with Omarion. He can work with him, he can be on stage with him, but they can walk past each other, not really speak to each other, stuff like that. I was like, huh? huh? Run that back, Bow Wow. Like they just don't really see if each other. They ain't cool with each other like that. They don't rock with each other. And I was still sitting here thinking to myself, like, huh? Who asked you? I'm like, why was this a topic of discussion? I'm beyond confused as to why this is a topic of discussion and a topic of discussion on my motherfucking time, on my timeline. So then I guess Omarion got wind of what was said. So y'all know Omarion with his long-winded ass responses. So I'm actually about to read Omarion's response. It says, over the years, I've shared space, history, and energy with many in this industry. Bow Wow being one of them. Inviting him to the Millennium Tour franchise was an extension of brotherhood and respect. It came from a place of love, legacy, and shared memories. To my knowledge, there is no beef, no unresolved issues, unless there is one. With Bow Wow, that is. No drama. He didn't say that with Bow Wow. I'm saying that. No drama. I'm in a season where I honor what's real, what's reciprocal, and what uplifts the spirit. We may cross paths and not exchange words, and that's okay. I wish him well on his journey. I move forward with love, clarity, and truth. Thank you to everyone who came out to the Millennium Tour and made it a great success. Excitement and more great news to come. See you soon. Okay. Now, for Bow Wow to say they got a beef, he says the relationship is complicated. Nigga, what the fuck does complicated mean? Actually, you know what, nigga? I don't give a fuck what complicated means because you're complicated. You're the complicated person in this whole ordeal. Just putting that out there. Putting that out there. Do you guys give a damn about this whole... Again, it seems like it's one-sided. It just seems like it's Bow Wow that has the beef. Do you guys care about this shit with Bow Wow and his brain and Omarion? Do you guys care? Let me know. Because if you do, I'm all ears. As far as I go, I don't give a fuck. Let's pause here and move on to the next story, you guys. All right, you guys, so the next story that I want to talk about, it's an interesting one. So Keke Palmer, y'all know Keke has her podcast, right? Which I've never listened to her podcast. Baby, is it Baby, This is Keke Palmer? I think it's Baby, This is Keke Palmer, right? Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Baby, This is Keke Palmer. So Keke Palmer, she had an interview with Jonathan Majors, but Keke pulls the interview with Jonathan Majors, and this comes to us from Vulture, right? So Vulture says Keke is no longer airing an interview with convicted abuser Jonathan Majors on her podcast. Since last week, Baby, This is Keke Palmer had been teasing an episode titled No Easy Answers, Accountability and Moving Forward with Jonathan Majors, set for April 8th. The episode was available early to Wanderies Plus subscribers. You know, that's the interest. Everybody got a plus these days. I remember back when, when Hulu and Netflix and all of them, like when Hulu came out, I remember Hulu had a free version that you could watch, right? But then you had to get Hulu Plus. Now everything has a plus, right? Disney Plus, Amazon Plus, like Apple TV Plus, like everything got a fucking plus. Everything you gotta pay for. Like that's why I went back to cable. Like I had to go back to cable. I done got all off topic. But it says it was available to her people, to subscribers, right? But then disappeared from Keke's feed before its premiered yesterday after fans criticized Palmer for helping rehabilitate Major's image. It has been replaced by an interview with rapper Cash Doll with no acknowledgement from Palmer or production company. Y'all don't... Let me get into this. So y'all basically done bullied that girl into not posting that interview. Y'all do know production, like they had to go through a lot of stuff to do that interview. To people, y'all cost people money. Here's my thing. I get that a lot of people don't care for Jonathan Majors, don't see it for Jonathan Majors, and that's fine, right? But there are people out there that do still see it for the man. For what reason, that's for them to, them to tell you guys and for you guys to potentially judge, right? Am I judging anybody that wants to, support Jonathan Majors? Absolutely not, right? I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. I mean, here's the thing. Y'all are mad that y'all feel like Kiki is trying to rehabilitate his career, and I don't know if people are upset with Kiki because of saying, oh, you went through a domestic violence situation with your child's father. I don't know if people are going that route, or if people are just upset, like, girl, how of all the people you could do an interview with, why would you do it with Jonathan Majors? I don't know what the backlash is. I don't care what the backlash is. Support if you want to support. If you don't want to support, don't support. It's that fucking easy to me personally. Like, if I was somebody who absolutely 100% did not see it for Jonathan Majors, when I hear that Keke Palmer, and if I'm an avid watcher of Keke Palmer's, right, and I know she's on an interview with him, I know it's going to be posted pretty soon, I would just be like, you know what, I love my girl Keke, but that episode I absolutely cannot support for whatever personal reasons I have. And you leave it at that. But to basically just outright bully that girl, like, what the fuck? I mean, y'all, his image has already been it's in a process of being, Megan Good. Even though a lot of us thought that that was a publicity stunt. I mean, they're married to each other. So you can't stay mad at people forever, right? Some people can, but the other thing I will say is, what is it like? Again, why invest so much into it? If you don't support the man, don't support him, right? Speaking of which, that movie Magazine Dreams, Paper Dreams, something, whatever the movie is that came out a few months ago. Have you guys saw the movie? Because I have not saw the movie. I haven't really heard much about the movie, but if you guys have saw it, definitely drop down in the comment section and let me know if you guys saw the movie. Let me know what you guys think about the movie, and that's it. But as far as Keke goes, y'all, again, I'm gonna repeat it one more time for everybody to hear me loudly and clearly. If Keke does an interview with somebody that you don't like, just don't watch. Don't watch. Don't watch. That's as easy as I can say it. Moving on to the next story. I think this is going to be the last story if I'm not mistaken. Yep, you guys. So moving on to the last story. So the last story is a very interesting story. So this is the biggest story of this week, I feel, right? Actually, no, we got two more stories. Let me not talk about that story real quick, and we'll discuss another topic. So Billboard. Now y'all can take from this whatever the hell you want to take from it. I don't really give a damn because it's just somebody's opinions. So Billboard staff ranks the best female rapper of all time, and it's number 1 through 25, right? So what I'll do is I'll start at the bottom and then we'll work our way up. And y'all can tell me if y'all agree with this list or disagree with the list, right? Personally, I disagree with the list, but I'm not gonna tell you who I disagree on because I don't want them problems on my channel. So the first person on the list is starting from number 25. There's an artist by the name of Tierra Whack. Now, I don't know who the hell Tierra Whack is. No offense to that lady, but I don't know who she is. Next up on 24 is Doechii. Then after Doechii at number 23 is Gangsta Boo. Rest in peace to Gangsta Boo. Then number 22 we have Lady of Rage. Number 21 we have Glorilla. Glorilla at 21. I don't know if I agree or disagree with that. Then at number 20 we have Moni Love. 19 we have Lotto. 18 Remy Ma. 17 Rhapsody. 16 Doja Cat. 15 Megan Thee Stallion. 14 Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Rest in peace to her as well. 13 is Trina. 12 Da Brat. 11 Cardi B. 10 Foxy Brown. Eve is at number 9. 8 is Roxanne Shante. Now I noticed that they don't have Yo-Yo on here, but okay. Number 7 Salt and Pepper. 6 MC Light. 5 Queen Latifah. I don't know if I agree with that. 4 Lil Kim. 3 Lauryn Hill. 2 Missy Elliott. And rounding the list at number 1 is Nicki Minaj. Now, again, Do I agree with this list? No, this is somebody else's list. But y'all can tell me what y'all think about it. Again, like I said, do I agree with it? Absolutely not. But I don't agree with it, not in a bad way. So I want to preface that by saying I don't agree. This it's not like I'm saying, oh, such and such should be at such and such should be at such and such should be here. That's not what I'm saying. Like, and that's why I said I'm not gonna say which artists I would interchange because I don't want to get into them problems. But yeah, I don't 100% agree with that list. But I want you guys to tell me what you guys think about the list. Like, are you guys, how do you guys feel about it? And you guys can also tell me, like, on that list from 1 to 25, even if you guys would add some, if you would remove somebody and add somebody, let me know who you guys would add, who you would move, if you guys would move somebody up, if you guys would move somebody down. Definitely tell me down in the comment section below, you guys. And now, let's go ahead and get into the last story of the day. So, the last story of the day comes to us from none other than Carrie Hilson, you guys. So, I know that Carrie Hilson had a new song out, so I'm assuming Carrie Hilson was at the Breakfast Club and she was promoting her single, right? So somewhere at the Breakfast Club, she has this conversation about Beyonce, Beyonce and Sierra. She didn't mention them, right? But you guys know her song "Turning Me On," right? So she talked about the record and how Polo the Don wanted her to record a remix. So she did the remix, and I'm gonna read you guys the lyrics, right? I don't remember how, cause you're turning me on, turning me on. Okay, I do remember how the song go. Baby, I ain't heard that song in God knows how long. I ain't heard "Turning Me On" in years. When did that song come out? When did "Turning Me On" come out? But neither here nor there. So I'm gonna read Carrie's verse, you guys, because again, I don't remember. I know how the song go, but I don't remember how the song go at the same time. It says, "I ain't trying to start some mess. There's just something on my chest that I need to get off, cause you're turning me on. Your vision cloudy. Your vision cloudy. If you think that you're the best, you can dance. She can sing, but she need to move it to the left, to the left." We definitely know it was about Beyonce. She needs to go have some babies. She needs to sit down. She fake. Them other chicks ain't even worth my time to talk about. Been had dollars. Boy, go on, get your money up. No, you're ain't, huh? No, you're ain't the only, oh, no, you ain't the only one, homie. That literally says, no, you're ain't the only homie. Huh? Okay, we gonna skip that part. Cause that line don't make no damn sense. I ain't turning it off. I stay turning it on. Go ahead and tell these folks how long you been writing your songs. Oh, okay. I mean, she had a lot to get off her chest, didn't she? Well, technically, she didn't have a lot to get off her chest because Carrie says that she didn't write this. Carrie said she didn't say who wrote this. Internet picked up who wrote this and they ran with it, right? So Carrie is like, she didn't want to do this, right? But her album was getting ready to come out. So now she's not saying she was forced to do it, but she just felt like basically if you don't do this, then your album, we gonna shelve that shit, right? So she went in the studio, she did this. Now people have found out that Esther Dean is the one who actually wrote the lyrics, right? And Esther Dean did come out and say she did write the lyrics, right? But she said that she co-wrote them with so I'm gonna read. So somebody said the writer was definitely Esther Dean. She said, and Esther Dean came up under this person's comment saying, and did it was a hit. And so Carrie, so like she said, she's trying to say that her and Carrie co-wrote it. Well, Carrie, she said, I submitted. So this is Esther Dean, right? She said, I submitted a lot of verses for that remix. One got picked, and it was co-written with Carrie. Looking back, it was childish, and it didn't age well. I see how it hurt people, especially women, and I take full accountability. She says, I've worked with and supported many women since, but that doesn't erase the moment. I'm sorry for my part in it. Growth is real, and so is this apology. Girl, bullshit. Because y'all sat there and let Carrie Hilson's career tank. Because I mean, Carrie Hilson's career, when she first came out, I was fucking with Carrie. I really was fucking with Carrie Hilson when she first came out. But then after this damn song came, because Turning Me On, I do remember that song. When I was living in my hometown, I do remember they used to play that song relentlessly on the radio. Hold on, you guys, real quick. Oh my God, you guys. So we back. I'm sorry. There was this lady that just called me. And mind you, she and I had a conversation 2 weeks ago. I explained to her how the process works with, y'all know I work in insurance, right? So I told her how the process works when it comes to getting her vehicle fixed. This lady, and I even sent her an email. The email specifically spells it out. Said it on the phone. I said it in the email. This lady just called me a few minutes ago, hung up, called back again. So that's why I had to pick up and answer it. And then she gonna sit here and say, well, I went to my body shop and they said it's gonna be, you guys gave me an estimate for $1,300, but my body shop gave me an estimate for $1,600. So I just need to know what I need to do. Bitch. I told you 2 weeks ago how this works. I sent you an email a week ago today and told you how this works. Get the fuck off my line. Let me have a great fucking weekend. But back to Carrie and Esther Dean, right? So, like I said, Esther Dean was sitting there trying to say that her and Carrie co-wrote that song together. Carrie Hilson says, nah, girlfriend. We did not co-write that song together, right? And Esther Dean is talking about she gave an apology. Like, girl, no, you did. Like, y'all literally let Carrie take all the. I mean, she was the one that sang on the song, but y'all literally let that girl's career suffer because of it. Like, this is some bullshit. Hell to the no. Let me see if I can find Kira's response to her. So, because I read you guys Esther Dean's comment. So Carrie, however, wasn't letting that version. So Carrie, this is coming to us from Vibe magazine. So Carrie didn't let what Esther Dean said fly, right? So it says Carrie, however, wasn't letting that version of events fly. She took to the Shade Room's comments section to clarify that not only was the verse not a collaboration, but she fought to soften the message. It says, quote, you used the word co-wrote. I rewrote 3 lines in your verse, she explained, which was the only battle I won in the whole matter. But you weren't there when all this was going down, and we didn't write it together. She even pinpointed exactly which lyrics were written by her. So Carrie says, been getting dollars, boy. Go on, get your money up. No, you ain't the only homie on my line up. Bitch, the place that I just read that lyric a few minutes ago, why is this lady calling me back again, you guys? Oh my God. But that's it, you guys. Let me answer this phone real quick and then I'm gonna come back and wrap this up. I promise you this lady getting on my last goddamn nerve. But that's it, you guys. Be sure to like, we do this every single week, you guys. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, you guys. And until the next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.